The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
Yes, it's late, it's cold, and I watched Elf tonight, but that's about all you're going to get for a cheeky intro. This is Short Time Shots, your mostly daily look at the daily scores and more from in and around the world of wrestling. I'm Jason Bryant. The Minnesota beer of the night, well, last night the Facebook Live crowd didn't really get to hear my lackluster review of a beer I really didn't like that much, but that was Tin Whiskers Orange Dream State, which is an orange cream ale. Have no fear, here's a better review. Yes, this is an improvement. Bad Weather Brewing's Immortal Toast, a coffee-infused white stout. Now, before you laugh at coffee-infused white, it's delicious. So, yeah, that's a white stout. That's what a white stout looks like. If you're watching this, it looks like a beer. Yes, there is a such thing. It's surprisingly awesome. It's also surprisingly awesome as a result of this thing going live last night on Facebook, picked up another patron, this one from Lauren Rupert, the sister of one of my high school teammates and drill partners. What's interesting is that my other drill partner, Curtis Booth, lived up here for 6 months on a work contract. So as soon as it snowed in November, he peaced out. He's gone. He was about 2 miles from me, came to the house last week, met the wife and my kids, hung out a couple times while he was here. It was good stuff. Good stuff, Bull Island. So anyway, Lauren, you get some cool stuff like that glass, and it's cool to be able to mention Pocosin without it being an Allen Iverson documentary. Of course, she gets the glass, the shirt, some other free stuff, and of course this shout-out, including we shall need some more wrestlers on to see a football team. Yeah, it's an inside joke back to Pocosin. Anyway, dual meets on Wednesday night. No ranked D1 teams in action, but here's what we've got from around the mid-majors. Gardner-Webb upended Franklin and Marshall. No, that's not 4 people, that's 2 schools. 22-18 in a matinee duel in Boiling Springs, North Carolina. In case you're wondering, that's where Gardner-Webb is located. Even after giving up a forfeit, the Runnin Bulldogs, yes, Runnin Bulldogs of Gardner-Webb, won 6 of the 10 bouts. Franklin and Marshall picked up a win over the first-year program at Presbyterian. Yeah, the Diplomats beat the Blue Hose. Yes, those are also both of the school's actual nicknames. By the way, the score was 38-9. In other first-year news, Appalachian State spoiled the Division I home debut of Little Rock 36-6 at the Jack Stevens Center. It's effectively the Sun Belt Championship, as that all-sports league doesn't sponsor wrestling. It's also the first major college competition in the state of Arkansas, as Arkansas State did have a team back in the 1950s, but that was before Division I was even there, and it was, there were no divisions back then. Biggest matches of the duel saw Appalachian State's Sean Carter beat Jalen Carson at 125, Cody Russell topped Paul Bianchi at 133, and App State with another one as Matt Zabatoski edged Jose Champagne 4-3 at 157. Upset of the night came in Edwardsville, Illinois, as Justin Ruffin of SIUE knocked off returning All-American 4th-ranked Larry Early of Old Dominion 3-1 in the tiebreakers at 157. ODU won the duel 33-9, but that win at 157 for Ruffin was the head-turner. I just turned my head slightly to the left in case you're not watching this. Also in the MAC, Northern Illinois broke a 13-13 tie by winning the last 3 weights to top Kent State 23-13. In the NAIA, 3rd-ranked Lindsey Wilson trounced 4th-ranked Marion 44-4 in a duel at Jeffersonville High School in southern Indiana. Again, shout out there to Danny Struck. Nothing yet from San Francisco State and Simpson, the one in California. But last night, San Francisco State did beat Southern Oregon 24-19. In junior college action, top-ranked Western Wyoming beat number 11 Northwest College of Wyoming 35-13. Keep an eye on this name, though, for Northwest College. Majid Muratov, native of Uzbekistan, who was 5th at the 2016 Junior World Championships at 84 kilos. What did he do on Wednesday night? Well, he just beat the number 1 ranked guy in the country 2-1 in sudden victory 3, that being Tucker Tomlinson. How did the U.S. entry do that year at the Junior World Championships where Mr. Muratov took 5th? Yeah, a guy named Zahid Valencia was the U.S. entry. He took 7th. Notables on the docket for Thursday. Bloomsburg's at Lock Haven in the MAC East or the PSAC, whichever you prefer. Feel like this is deja vu all over again. Right down the street is Ryder going to Princeton. Loser buys at Hoagie Haven, while the winner celebrates at Summit. I think it's Summit. I don't know, whatever it was called there. And not that Summit Brewing here in St. Paul, but there is a pretty good little brew pub right there near Princeton. Anyway, we've already talked craft beer. Purdue takes on SIU Edwardsville. Drexel heads to take on Cal Poly out west in California and number 25 Stanford, while Kent State heads to Wisconsin to face the number 8 Badgers. I'm not repeating that late 90s Flash video reference anymore, other than it was like Badger, 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 Mushroom, Mushroom. Okay, I guess I am repeating it. In Division II, Lander heads to Belmont Abbey, while UW-Parkside heads over to Mankato to take on Minnesota State. Davis and Elkins will go into Pennsylvania to face Seton Hill. And again, that's the Griffins of Seton Hill and not the ones from Quahog. In Division 3, I mistakenly read Thursday's matches on the previous night's short time, which is where an error came in the actual production of this show. Mount St. Joe is hosting a try with Alma and Penn College on Thursday. Anyway, in the NAIA, Menlo will head to Southern Oregon. From the Daily Wrestling News, after releasing the men's freestyle seeds on Tuesday, USA Wrestling and TheMat.com has released the pre-seeds for this weekend's U.S. Senior Nationals in Fort Worth in women's freestyle. Top seeds there are Victoria Anthony at 50 kilos, Dom Parrish at 53, two-time Olympic trials champion Kelsey Campbell at 57, Maya Nelson at 62, two-time world teamer Forrest Molinari at 68, and Final X runner-up Precious Bell at 76. TransitionWrestling.com gives us the full entry list for women's freestyle this weekend. Timmy Hands of 5PointMove.com does another solid feature, this time on the return of Rayvon Perkins to the Greco-Roman scene. It's also time for Timmy's Q&A with WCAP coach Spencer Mango on what he lovingly titles Fort Greco. Purdue Wrestling returns with the Always Aggressive podcast. No, it's not on the network, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't listen to it. Speaking of podcasts, Nebraska's Husker Matt, which produces the Big Matt Show, which is now mostly on Rockfin, does a free podcast episode with Mike Shadwinkle about his new book, Purple Rain. And no, not like Prince. Purple. No, I'm not going to sing. Don't really care. I'm in Minnesota. Don't really care for Prince. That's like a sin here. Brad Wilson of Lehigh Valley Live previews the Phillipsburg Wrestling Squad, one of the top programs in New Jersey. It's also good to see Brad attending events again. He'd spent some time in the hospital and is back out in the gyms covering wrestling. Matt Levins of the Burlington Hawkeye, which is in Iowa, go figure, profiles the situation at Iowa Wesleyan University and how the school is on the brink of extinction and now finds itself starting men's and women's wrestling programs and getting some help from a guy named Dan Gable. You might have heard of him. By the way, Brad Wilson and Matt Levins, both recipients of the National Wrestling Media Association Journalist of the Year Award in the past. India.com profiles 2019 men's freestyle world silver medalist Deepak Punia. Did you know he was the son of a milkman? No, you didn't. Unless your name's Vinay Sawatch. Yeah, that's not in the story, by the way. But in case you're wondering, yeah, the Daily Wrestling News is global, by the way. And down US 52 in Rochester, in Minnesota, KIMT3 TV News talks with the Yellow Jackets of Rochester Community and Technical College. Yes, again, the one in Minnesota. Rochester's news outlets do a pretty fair job in covering the RCTC sports programs. Some pretty interesting alumni coming out of there, including UFC veteran Travis Wu. It's actually spelled W-I-U-F-F or W-U-I-F-F, one of the two. Yeah, but it's pronounced View. Go figure. On the network, Kyle Klingman and Andy Hamilton debate the nuances of ordering a cheesesteak in Philadelphia and visit with Northern Colorado head wrestling coach Troy Nickerson on the latest edition of On the Mat. Virginia Tech assistant coach Jared Freyer recaps the CKLV and previews the upcoming U.S. Senior Nationals with a pair of Southeast Regional Training Center members in Makai Lewis and Ty Walls. They're set to compete. That's on Inside Virginia Tech Wrestling. You can read those stories and more from Matt Talk Online's daily wrestling newsletter. Sign up for free at MattTalkOnline.com/news and get today's top wrestling stories from around the world delivered to your inbox for free every single morning. The Matt Talk Online Daily Wrestling Newsletter is sponsored by Resolite. And if you'd like to support the show and all the on-demand audio offerings, free newsletters, and historical research, you can do so by going to MattTalkOnline.com/join the team. The Short Time Wrestling Podcast is also proudly outfitted by Compound Sportswear. You need something, give Cliff and the crew a call. That's all I've got for you today in a very heavily edited version of Short Time Shots for December 18th, 2019. Those of you watching on Facebook Live, yeah, not my A game today, but guess what? Those of you listening on the podcast, you'll never know, will you? I'd like to thank you for spending your time with me because you've always got time for Short Time.